everything we do is kind of interesting. If you go down here and you have you see all these nice churches that are built, and I one time made a statement, and this is when I was very young and naive, of course. You know, look at all the nice church buildings. Why do we need all of them? Why don't we just have one? And, you know, the Baptists go on Monday, the Methodists on Tuesday, the Presbyterians on Wednesday. We can have just, rotate it out. Well, that got me no response at all. Okay, they said, kind of stupid. We will build the building, we'll find other uses for it, like we do church, childcare, meetings and things of that nature. But I think you find suddenly the church, you have this institution that is a very integral part of our society in terms of our behavior, our conduct, our treatment of other people. And you have the economy, which is also a very important system that certainly makes use of, must borrow from, must incorporate many of those notions and many of those, in particular when it comes to the issue of how we treat others, into their system. And I think that is always a work in progress that we'll be dealing with. And as we look ahead, there will always be disagreements. As I look down, I see some of the things that were being discussed in some of the social affirmations by the Methodist Church. And I just said, I hope they think this through. It's not as easy as it looks. And sometimes they do. And then the final thing is it's always nice to see on your ministers, like, for example, I was in a sermon, this was just back in, they were starting to talk about the lottery in Louisiana. And my dear friend, and actually the most civil man I know, Bill Woodland, who was a preacher at University United Methodist Church. Just absolutely the most gentle, nicest individual you'd ever met in your life. He was preaching about the sins of the lottery. So after the play was passed, I went back to the church. I said, well, Phil, let me see if I understand you correctly. You're not going to put all of our collections into the lottery. Is that right? And he said, no, I will. Okay. And then another preacher was saying, he was talking about how, about NAFTA and unemployment in Ohio. His family came from Ohio and said about how we were treating all the poor people in Ohio out of jobs. So of course I have to go by and say, now let me see if I understand this correctly. God did not want little Mexicans to have jobs, right? Is that what you're saying to me? And of course he said, oh, no, I didn't say that. I said, yes, you did say that. So be careful what you say from the pulpit. Any questions or comments, or I hope it's worth your time. Yes, sir.
Jim, you were talking about faith, and it's clear that we have crisis of faith when it comes to the Social Security system. I'm interested in your thoughts on the analogy between religious faith and financial institution faith and that problem.
That's an interesting challenge. My sister is a little bit older than I am, and she turned 62 several years ago, and she started taking Social Security off the bat. And I said, why are you doing that? You can wait till you're 65, 66, you get a much larger paycheck. And they were not in need. They had taken care of themselves well. And she said, yeah, that's when I earn money. I said, Grace, you're crazy. You're not going to run out of money. You're not the problem. And then I take my students who are younger, and they're 40, they're going to be maybe 45 years from now, they'll be asking for their Social Security. Now they're the ones that should be concerned, not me. They're the ones that should be concerned. But they're not concerned, it's not going to run out of money. It may not be as much as you had anticipated. It'd be easy to solve the problem. But what's important, and this is where our obligation is. is we need to let people know precisely what you need to do for yourself. If your benefits are going to diminish by 17% as of 2045, you need to know that today, so you can calculate that, accommodate that in your own decision making as a private individual. But that sense of they're going to break down, and I don't know how you. Part of that is people are, when they put out information, that they put out very. It's brief, and we don't pay attention a great deal about it. But we really need to look at it. You know, there are several ways you can deal with it, Social Security, very simply. One is we can say, okay, when we get that magic point that we have more money going out than coming in, well, really, those who are working will pay more. Their contribution. That's why I said make sure your kids are productive. You'll have, because they have to put more on the line. That's one alternative. Now, at that point, the kids may say, wait a minute, I've taken care of this old guy enough. Come on. I don't, you know, but you have that issue. Alternative, we can say that people who are collecting at that point, you get 17% less. The system works out that. But obviously, if you have not been adjusted or building for that, you're shocked because there goes my pill medicine or my pill payments. So you have all sorts of things. But if they let you know right now, if they were to start building, for example, we easily edge in or up the retirement age a little bit. It's now up to, I think, 66, 67. Now you'll move it up to 68. Heck, my daughter was in law school. I looked over there at the law school. Apparently, their retirement plan was worth figure 90. They took this picture. I looked at that picture. Looks like a nursing home. But I didn't say that to them. But it looked like a nursing home.
Let me ask you this about Social Security. I've read that if you go back 75 years, which includes the Great Depression, and you assume economic growth was a certain amount during that 75 years, project that ahead 75 years, and if it's the same amount, then Social Security will be rolling money because of economic growth.
Mm-hmm. They say that if you were invested in a private fund,
Now, if you go back 75 years and measure economic growth for that 75 years to the present, go forward 75 years, assuming the same amount of economic growth, there's no problem with Social Security. Is that correct?
well, I'm not sure that's exactly correct because the real issue of Social Security is age distribution. And over time, it's going to come back. Remember, we went through this. When they started out, let me see, in 1950, you had 8 workers for every retired person. Today, you have like 2.5. And then down the line, it's going to be like 2. That's where it's the age. But sooner or later, I mean, if you look around the malls now, the baby boom is coming back. There are more children being born because it's just the natural age distribution of the population. So sooner or later, it will come back. You have a period in there in which there will be a short problem. Now, that period may be 20 years old, 20 years in the making, though. So I think that's a real element you have to worry about. That would be the same. The other element is obviously, even if you have the economy grow, because you have how much I contribute depends on, is tied to a certain income level. It doesn't go past that. Well, the Social Security Fund does not get all of the growth built into it. Okay. But that's the element there. But I think the idea there is this sense that Social Security is going to fall apart. It's not going to fall apart. It's going to be different a little bit down the line. But again, it was in 83, 84, they redid Social Security in many ways. Payroll taxes went up, age changes were made. They corrected it for about 40 years. We have to do it. It can be done. Yes.
Well, the other part of that is that when I pay my Social Security payments out of my paycheck, they're not being invested in stocks and bonds. They're paying for